6 points, one game, everything on the line. Welcome to James Arsenal Analysis. I'm James. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like, turn on your notifications, and do not go anywhere. Because today we are breaking down the most important Premier League match of this entire season. And I promise you, by the time we reach the end of this video, you will know exactly what Arsenal are walking into at the Etihad Stadium this Sunday. Who is fit, who is not, what the tactical picture looks like, and what this match genuinely means for the destiny of the Premier League title. Stay with me until the very end. This one matters. Let us start with the reality of where we are right now, because I think some people in our fan base have lost perspective over the last few weeks, and I want to bring it back into sharp focus before we go anywhere near the injury news. Arsenal sit first in the Premier League table, 70 points from 32 matches. We are top of the league. We have been top of this league for the better part of this entire campaign. Yes, Manchester City have cut the gap. Yes, they are applying pressure. Yes, that loss to Bournemouth at the Emirates hurt. But let me be absolutely clear about something. We are still in the driving seat. We are still the team that everyone else has to catch. And this Sunday, on their own patch, Pep Guardiola's side have to come and beat us just to make this a real title race. If they do not win this game, we retain a commanding position heading into the final weeks of the season. That context matters. Do not let anyone take that away from you. Now, Manchester City, 64 points from 31 matches, one game in hand, a 6-point deficit. If they win Sunday and use that game in hand wisely, they get within 3 points of us. That is the math. That is why this fixture is being described as a potential title decider. And that is exactly why what I am about to tell you in terms of the injury picture is so significant. Because this is not just a football match. This is a chess match played with human bodies. And right now, Mikel Arteta is managing a situation that requires everything he has as a coach, a leader, and a man who genuinely believes in what he is building at this football club. Let us go position by position through the Arsenal injury picture. And I want to be thorough because every single one of these names matters. I will start here because there is no more important player in Mikel Arteta's system than Bukayo Saka. He is our heartbeat. He is our engine on the right side. He creates, he scores, he presses, he draws fouls, he makes things happen when nothing else is working. And right now, we do not know with absolute certainty whether he will be on that pitch at the Etihad this Sunday. What we do know is that Saka has been absent since the international break. Arteta confirmed it is an Achilles issue. He was not seen during the open media portion of training ahead of the first leg against Sporting CP in Portugal, did not travel for that match, and was absent for the Bournemouth defeat as well. When Arteta was pushed on the timeline for Saka and Yuri and Timber, his exact response was that maybe one of them would be available, maybe one. That is Arteta being as careful as he always is with injury information. But it also tells you that the situation is not straightforward. We are not looking at a player who has recovered and is ready to go. We are looking at a player in a race against time. If Saka is fit and available, Guardiola's entire defensive plan gets thrown into question. Their fullbacks will be tested, their wide press will be organised differently. Saka changes everything about how Arsenal can attack. If he is not fit, the burden shifts. It shifts to Martinelli on the left. It shifts to whoever Arteta deploys on that right channel. And it shifts enormously onto the shoulders of Victor Gyökeres and Kai Havertz to drag us through moments in the game. This is the single most important fitness call of our season. And we may not know until much closer to kickoff. Alongside Saka in that potential return conversation, Arteta also referenced Timber when he said maybe one of them would be available. Timber went down in the Everton victory on March 14th, came off in the 37th minute and has not featured since. He missed the Bayer Leverkusen return leg, missed the EFL Cup final defeat to Manchester City, withdrew from the Netherlands squad and was absent for Sporting CP, both legs and the Bournemouth match. What is important to understand about Timber is his role in how Arsenal defend and transition. He is not simply a right back. He is a player who inverts, who presses aggressively, who reads the game with remarkable intelligence for someone his age. When he plays, our defensive structure has a different kind of solidity in the channels. When he is absent, Arteta has to find solutions. Christian Mosquera has come in when required, and the former Valencia man has shown real composure for a young player in his debut Premier League season. But Timber is a different level. If both Saka and Timber return, this Arsenal squad looks genuinely capable of getting a result at the Etihad. If neither returns, we have a significant challenge ahead of us. The long-term situation. The bad news that has been with us since January: Mikel Merino sustained a foot injury and has been sidelined for a prolonged period with no confirmed return date before the end of the season. There is no update to give here beyond the fact that we have had to adapt and move on without him. What Merino brings to this team in terms of physicality, aerial ability, and late runs into the box is irreplaceable on a like-for-like basis. But the squad has adapted, and Arteta deserves credit for how he has navigated this period. Christian Norgard has been a revelation since his summer arrival from Brentford. The Danish international brings exactly the kind of grit, intelligence, and positioning that you need in the middle of the park, and he has become a trusted presence in Arteta's midfield structure. Merino will not feature on Sunday. That is confirmed. Move on. And here is where things got really painful on Wednesday night at the Emirates Stadium. Noni Madueke, who joined Arsenal from Chelsea in the summer and has been a really bright addition to this squad, went down in the second half of the Sporting CP match around the hour mark with what appeared to be a knee issue. What we saw was worrying. He needed support to leave the pitch. He hobbled off. He was replaced by Max Dowman, the teenage sensation who has already made history as the youngest goal scorer in Premier League history this season. But in that moment, nobody was thinking about Dowman's milestone. Everyone was watching Madueke's face and the way he was being helped from the field. Arteta spoke after the match. He was honest. He said he did not know the extent of the injury, described it as something in his knee, and made clear the decision to take him off was straightforward because they could not risk continuing. That candid response from Arteta is actually the kind of information you need to take seriously. He did not say it was minor. He did not give false reassurance. He said he did not know. As things stand heading into Sunday, Noni Madueke is a serious doubt. Given that we received no further update between Wednesday night and now, the working assumption has to be that he will not be available. If he does travel to Manchester, it would be a significant and positive surprise, but plan for him to be absent. This is a real blow. Madueke had settled into life at Arsenal with real energy. His directness, his ability to cut inside from the right or play wider, gave Arteta options in the final third that complemented Gyökeres and the rest of the attacking players beautifully. Losing him, even temporarily, reduces our attacking depth at exactly the worst moment. Our captain, our creative heartbeat in midfield, and another complicated situation heading into Sunday. Odegaard had already missed the Bournemouth match with a knee complaint that he picked up in the first leg against Sporting CP in Portugal. He then returned for the second leg at the Emirates on Wednesday, but came off during the second half with the same knee causing concern. In his programme notes ahead of that Sporting match, he was transparent with the supporters. He acknowledged the knee issue, said he caught it again during the game, but expressed cautious optimism that it should not be too severe. He made clear his desperation to get back because he understands better than anyone what this period of the season means. The encouraging detail is the tone of Odegaard's own assessment. He was not giving a clinical confirmation of fitness, but he was not sounding alarm bells either. For a player of his character and professionalism, if he says it should not be too bad, there is reason to believe there is a realistic chance of him featuring at the Etihad. But we are in developing territory here. This is a situation that will only become clear when Arteta names his squad and his starting lineup. If Odegaard is available and starts, the way Arsenal move the ball in transition changes dramatically. He is the player who connects the press to the attack, who arrives late into dangerous areas, who makes decisions at pace that other midfielders cannot. Without him, Zubimendi and Norgard carry more of the creative burden, and while both are outstanding players, neither is the attacking force that Odegaard represents. There is genuine optimism in this section. Calafiori has been working his way back from his injury absence and was described ahead of the Man City clash as edging closer to a return. He did not feature in the Sporting CP second leg, but the trajectory of his recovery is pointing in a positive direction. Getting Calafiori back would be a significant boost, not just in terms of availability, but in terms of what he offers. His ability to step out from defence and carry the ball, his comfort in tight spaces, and his reading of the game when out of possession all give Arteta more options in how Arsenal are constructed defensively and in transition. Keep an eye on whether his name appears in the matchday squad on Sunday. Even a place on the bench would represent progress. The Ecuadorian on loan from Bayer Leverkusen has been a genuinely impressive addition since his summer arrival. However, There is a lingering concern from the international break in March when he hobbled off during an Ecuador fixture. Arteta has been deliberately measured in his public assessment of the hamstring issue, which in Arteta language typically means it is more serious than he is letting on publicly. The expectation until proven otherwise is that Hincapie remains a doubt for this one. He did not feature for the Sporting match, and there has been no confirmation of his return to full training. Right, now some good news, because we absolutely need it. Declan Rice is fit and available. Not only is he fit and available, he played the full 90 minutes on Wednesday night against Sporting CP. Delivered a commanding performance as Arsenal secured their place in the Champions League semi-finals, and did all of this having missed training just 24 hours before the second leg. Let that detail sink in. He was not in training the day before a major European quarter-final. Arteta still trusted him to start and go the distance, and he delivered. Rice is everything for this Arsenal midfield. His engine, his desire, his ability to break up opposition attacks and immediately drive forward, his leadership qualities in the heat of a big match, his aerial presence at set pieces, both ends of the pitch. Going to the Etihad with Declan Rice fit and available is an enormous source of confidence for every Arsenal supporter. He will be asked to do a monumental job on Sunday. If Odegaard is not available, Rice becomes even more central to everything we want to do in and out of possession. A quietly developing situation. Adzé, who rejoined the club from Crystal Palace in the summer in what has been one of the stories of this season, missed several fixtures earlier in April. He was excluded from the EFL Cup final squad in March and withdrew from the England squad during the international break. However, he returned to training and there are positive signs around his availability. He is not fully confirmed as fit and ready, but the indications are more encouraging now than they were a week ago. If Eze is available and can play any kind of role at the Etihad, even from the bench, that is a genuine option for Arteta. He is a player who can change a game, whose technical quality in tight areas and ability to drive at defenders makes him the kind of impact substitute that could prove decisive in a high-stakes match. Now let us shift to Manchester City's injury picture, because this matters enormously for how Arsenal can set up and where the opportunities lie. Tactically, done for the season, that is the blunt reality. Gvardiol suffered a tibia fracture on January 4th in the draw with Chelsea, required surgery, and the most optimistic return date is summer 2026. He will not play again this season. For City, losing Gvardiol has been a significant blow. He was one of their most consistent performers in recent seasons, a modern left-sided centre-back who can defend aggressively and contribute in build-up. His absence has shaped how Guardiola has had to organise his defensive line. For Arsenal, this is an opportunity. The left channel of City's defence is more vulnerable, without Guardiola operating at full capacity. Another problematic situation for Guardiola. Stones has not played since suffering a calf injury during the March international break while on England duty. He sat out the Liverpool FA Cup win and was only involved in partial training ahead of the Chelsea match. As of today, he remains a doubt for Sunday. Stones' injury record this season has been frustrating, repeatedly interrupting his involvement just as he was hitting form. His experience, his reading of the game, and his ability to step out from the back and play through pressure are qualities that City really miss when he is absent. Without both Gvardiol and Stones, Guardiola's defensive options become significantly thinner, City's captain and their defensive leader. And he has been absent since picking up a hamstring injury in the Champions League last 16 second leg against Real Madrid, which ended City's European campaign with a brutal 5-1 aggregate defeat. He was not fit for the Chelsea match last weekend, but Guardiola expressed cautious optimism and indicated that Dias is targeting a return specifically for this Arsenal fixture. The expectation, as of now, is that this will be a genuine late call. If Dias returns, City's defensive structure improves significantly. He is their most experienced, most commanding presence in the back line. Getting him back for arguably their biggest league match of the season would be a timely boost for Guardiola. But there is no guarantee. We will have to watch this one closely as the week progresses. This is the newest and arguably most interesting injury development on the City side. Nico O'Reilly has been one of the genuine stories of Manchester City's season. The young left-back stepped up massively during a critical period, and it was his brace in the EFL Cup final on March 22nd that secured the trophy for City against Arsenal in a 2-0 victory at Wembley. He scored again against Chelsea in City's 3-0 win at Stamford Bridge last weekend, breaking the deadlock in what was a massive result for the title race. And then just over 10 minutes after scoring, he went down clutching his left hamstring and was replaced by Rayan Aït-Nouri. Since then, City have been deliberately vague about the severity of the issue. Reports emerged that O'Reilly took part in a light recovery session on Monday with his teammates. That is at least a semi-positive sign in terms of the timeline. However, as of today, there has been no official confirmation that he will be available for Sunday. He appears on the current unavailable list for this fixture. This is a developing situation that Guardiola will want to manage carefully. If O'Reilly is absent, Rayan Aït-Nouri is the likely solution on the left side. The Frenchman, signed from Wolves in the summer, has shown quality, but O'Reilly's directness and energy were a real weapon for City. Arsenal's right side, even without Saka at full fitness, should be probing that area relentlessly. Now let us zoom out and look at what the tactical picture actually tells us about Sunday. The key tension in this match is not just about individual quality. It is about how two managers with contrasting philosophies approach a match that neither can afford to lose. Guardiola's City, when fully fit and firing, press with extraordinary intensity and suffocate teams in possession. They use width intelligently. They overload the centre through midfield runners, and their transitions when they win the ball are lethal. With Erling Haaland available and fit, they have the kind of finishing power that demands Arsenal's defensive line maintains absolute discipline. Arteta, on the other hand, has built this Arsenal side around pressing from the front, winning the ball high up the pitch and then attacking at speed through combinations between Rice, the wide forwards and the striker. When Gyökeres is at his devastating best, running in behind, holding the ball up and finishing with his left foot or his right, he is one of the most dangerous players in European football. His 17 goals across all competitions this season tell a story, getting him into positions where he can run beyond City's defensive line, particularly if Stones remains unavailable and Dias is not at full fitness, is absolutely central to what Arsenal need to do. The other crucial element is set pieces. Arsenal have become one of the most clinical set-piece teams in Europe under Arteta and his staff. Declan Rice is a weapon at both ends from dead ball situations. Gabriel Magalhaes is an aerial threat that any opposition centre-back must account for. Without Marino, and potentially without some of their other key figures, this side still has the ability to score from a corner or a free kick in a situation where open play becomes difficult. That cannot be underestimated. What the injury list also tells us is that Arteta will likely have to make decisions about how much he trusts players who have had limited minutes to step up on the biggest stage. Christian Mosquera has shown genuine quality. Max Dowman is extraordinary for his age and has shown real composure when called upon. Miles Lewis-Skelly, who signed a new long-term contract over the summer, continues to develop into a really reliable option on the left side of defence. This is a squad with depth and character, even when the injury list is as long as it currently is. But let us be honest with each other, because that is what this channel is built on. This is a more difficult version of Arsenal than the one that led this league by 9 points a month ago. We have lost to City in the EFL Cup final. We have lost at home to Bournemouth. We crashed out of the FA Cup at the hands of Southampton. The shine has come off slightly. And Sunday at the Etihad, with everything that is riding on it, will tell us a great deal about the character and resilience of this group of players. Do I believe in them? Absolutely. Without question. Does Arteta have this squad prepared mentally and tactically for what is coming? Based on everything he has done since taking over this club, based on the journey that has brought us within touching distance of a first Premier League title since 2004, the answer has to be yes. City are not without their own problems. 4 confirmed injured or doubtful players in their defensive and wider defensive areas. A squad that has navigated a Champions League exit and is also preparing for an FA Cup semi-final next weekend against Southampton at Wembley. Guardiola's men are battle-hardened and experienced, but they are not invincible. They have their own vulnerabilities, and Arsenal, even at something less than full strength, have the quality to exploit them. Let me give you the title race picture one final time in clear terms, because this is the context that makes Sunday so electric. Arsenal, 70 points, 32 games played. Manchester City, 64 points, 31 games played. If City win Sunday, the gap drops to 3 points and they still have that extra game in hand. The title race becomes extraordinarily tight. Guardiola has historically dominated the month of April. His Premier League record in April across his entire tenure here is nothing short of remarkable. It is the kind of stat that haunts you as an Arsenal fan if you let it. But here is the flip side of that. Arteta has built something at Arsenal that nobody has built in North London for over 20 years. We have a champion-level striker in Gyökeres. We have a world-class deep midfielder in Rice. We have technically brilliant players throughout the squad. And we have a manager who has thought about nothing except winning this title since the day he walked back through the doors of the Emirates Stadium. If Arsenal win at the Etihad on Sunday, or even draw, the title is in our hands. We would be 7 points clear with a game in hand, and the remaining fixtures favour us. That is the prize on offer. That is why this match matters so profoundly. Before I let you go, I want to acknowledge something that does not often get said in football coverage. This season marks Arsenal's 100th consecutive season in the top flight of English football. 100 years. We are the first club in the history of the English game to achieve this. Think about what that means. Through every era of football, through every economic cycle, through every managerial change and every squad rebuild, Arsenal have never left this division. We belong here. We have always belonged here. Winning this title in the 100th consecutive top-flight season would be the kind of moment that generations of Arsenal supporters would talk about forever. My grandfather talked about Herbert Chapman. My father talked about Arsene Wenger's Invincibles. This generation of fans deserves their moment too. And Sunday at the Etihad is the next step on that road. Regardless of injury lists, regardless of City's home record, regardless of anything that has happened in the last few weeks, Arsenal turn up. We always turn up. That is who we are. That is the full breakdown, full injury picture for both sides. Fully verified, fully current as of today. Nothing outdated, nothing guessed, nothing assumed. If you found this useful, smash the like button right now. It genuinely helps more Arsenal supporters find this channel and join this community. Subscribe if you have not already, and turn on those notifications so you do not miss our matchday preview, our live reaction, and our full post-match breakdown after the final whistle on Sunday. Drop your prediction for Sunday in the comments. Tell me who you think starts. Tell me whether you think Saka makes it. Tell me if you believe this is our moment. I want to hear from every single one of you. I'm James. This is James Arsenal Analyses. Come on, Arsenal.